This is one of the things, by the way, that I love about StarCraft 2. It's just like map is done, next map is hosted, players join, and players start. And now we needed half an hour from the last game to this one. Close to, at least. That's the beauty of StarCraft 2. I guess that's also because it's a solo game versus team game, but yeah. That is something that I definitely miss. Game number 1 in the best of 3 series at the ESL Major League between SK Gaming and LDLC. Starting to the left side, we're having SK Gaming with our Ragi here in map number 1 on Cursed Hollow. On Chen, Snitch is playing Nazeebo, Zamoni is playing Illidan, Bakery is playing Vala, and Kumatobos is playing Uther. Lexcop to the right side for LDLC playing in Tyrande. We have Tidaka on ETC, Falcon on Sergeant Hammer, Polato on Malfurion, and Kilachino on Tacita. The bans in this game, we saw Stitches banned as the ban of actually like LDLC. SK Gaming had a first ban, first pick, and they banned out Zeratul, so that opened up Illidan for them, and they're running it with an Illidan comp here. And on the other hand, we're seeing ETC now taken by LDLC. It's one of the heroes that they actually took away from SK as soon as they could, because they had pretty bad experience against Illidan and ETC together, especially on big maps where then stage dive comes into play. Looking at the talents, the comp of course that we are going to see here once more is Tyrande. Tyrande is an amazing hero. She's absolutely great now, and especially of course since the healing ward like 2 patches ago was buffed and all the heroes that had healing ward suddenly became viable again, Tacita being one of them. We didn't see him for a long time, and then with the healing ward change he suddenly appeared in the meta again. And with Tyrande it's very similar. A lot of what she can supply to the team is the Hunter's Mark, which makes it so much easier to drop a single target. So if you have a lot of burst power, then you're trying to go for that, and that stun is also very, very useful. The problem that she has is squishiness, and that's where a hero like Tacita and the same team comes into play, because then you can keep her alive a bit longer. There comes already a stun against Bakery. We're seeing the tri-lane at the top with Sergeant Hammer, and Kumatobos, yeah, for SK is trying to get close enough, but Polato with a nice route, always zoning for Falcon here, doing extremely well with that. The multi-shot build on Vala has been chosen once again. Chen is going for the Regeneration Master, which kind of became the standard talent on the hero. That +4 regeneration, especially in the early game, is absolutely amazing. Illidan with his Shadow Shield on number 1, going for the evasion talent. And Conjurer's Pursuit on the side of Uther and also on the side of Malfurion. At the top lane though, currently we're still having that battle, and ETC went for Block here on level 1 talent. Block is, I guess, the one talent on ETC where most pros are on the same opinion, but then later on we're having a few changes with Guitar Hero and the Echo Pedals, so that's something that we could see right now. Healing wards taken on Tacita, of course, on Tyrande as well, and we are having on Malfurion instead at this point the Protective Shield. Tidaka, not 100% certain what he's asking right now. Okay, so apparently accidentally writing in the wrong chat there. We're having up at the top lane Kumatobos being the sole hero that is going up against the comp there. Oh, and there's already the Hunter's Mark, and he's being dropped in HP. But we had that Siege Giant camp taken. The creeps are spawning in 2 minutes into the game, and that's of course one of the important timings here. This is why a lot of the teams start rotating heroes towards the mercenary camps at the 2-minute mark. 3 minutes into the game, the bosses are going to spawn, so in just a few seconds. Snitch getting very low here, eats an owl as well. The first tribute is already in the game, so could be taken if one of the teams is starting to rotate over there, and it looks like SK wants to be the first one to get it, and they will be able to get there unless Polator gets the Moonfire off. No, isn't able to do that. Mid lane, we're having Illidan on Zamoni going up against Kilachino. The healing wards, of course, making it possible for those heroes to survive a bit longer on the lanes and get the lane experience. Until level 10, level 11, that's really when you want to have a heartbeat on those lanes. The Spanish team here, LDLC, they're just like doing absolutely amazing in Europe just in general. Losing a couple of games every now and then, of course, but they are definitely one of the top 3 teams that we're having on the European server right now. Echo Paddle already being used on ETC, and as we already said, like there are a couple of builds that you have for ETC right now, but most of them really go over the Echo Paddles on level 4, and then on level 7 we usually have Guitar Hero, which is the case in this time as well. I've been mentioning that already earlier. I think for the level 7 talent, what we see from Palato here, enduring growth, is one of the most common traits. Sometimes, of course, on certain maps you will prefer a mule here, but this is not one of those maps where the objectives are attacking the structures directly, and therefore we are seeing enduring growth over mule being chosen. We have the first aid taken on Tacit on Sergeant Hammer, which is going to be an important one. And Cleanse, which is a great tool to keep Illidan alive then later on as well. So far, SK is doing the better job with the mercenary camps that they're getting here, but oh my god, Zamoni was cutting this close, didn't he? Uses his first aid in the last second and is able to get away. And SK with the first tribute ready is starting to move up to the top lane, where they might be able to get another one. Now Falcon will not be stunned. Kumato Boss is just moving back in a second. But yeah, as you can see here, we have a complete rotation from LDLC, except for the hero at the bot lane, where Black Scorp on Tyrande is stunning our Aragi. Tyrande versus Chen, and the healing ward in position. Up here, Falcon was actually getting quite a bit low, but we have Kumato Boss in the same situation. He needs to well up, and that is costing him a lot of time. Nearly level 9, now level 9 hitting for LDLC, but we have SK in a level lead. They're doing extremely well with these rotations on the map and with the soaking of experience. This is one of their specialties, and they are using that once more. So they will soon reach level 10, and then the tribute is definitely going to end up in their favor. Brewmaster's Balance now taken on level 7, as you would expect here for Chen, and Polator is trying to take down Bakery. A nice route, but Kilachino is not able to close the distance in time to take him down. Level 10 talents are now there. Ravenous Spirit, Metamorphosis. We're having Reign of Vengeance and Divine Storm taken, but the tribute already capped by Polator. And the barrel, of course, for Chen. So they saw a bit of an opportunity to go there, and just in the last second, LDLC getting that tribute. It would have been an important one, but they didn't get it there just yet. Aragi jumps into tower range, and that move here is something that we see by so many Chen players. You jump into the tower range, and once the towers start attacking you, you just like use your passive, and with that the tower ammunition just goes down, and it's of course great that it helps you to push to the lane in. And that's exactly what our Aragi did here. The stun hits Zamoni, but there's not really a lot that he needs to be afraid of there. We have another camp being taken. That's the third camp that we're seeing for SK Gaming. LDLC is now taking one up to the right side as well. Tribute number 3 appearing on the map. And this would be second tribute to whatever team is able to get it here. What we're going to see in those fights later is, of course, once again, the Brewmaster Keck trying to just like isolate a target, or maybe even barrel one into the entire team. But the more important part is the synergy that we are seeing with Mosh Pit that can be used, for example, with a good Starfall here. They're already trying to get into position here. Zamoni, this is one of the main disturbances that we are going to have in the backline of LDLC, and they need to try and keep him alive. That's why Kumato Boss is going to save his protective shield for him. And also that cleanse, of course, going to be used there. Zamoni is jumping in, so far not going for the Metamorphosis, doesn't really need that. And here comes our Aragi already, maybe a bit too soon on this one, trying to disrupt them, but he didn't really achieve anything with it. He was moving them away, but that did not really do anything. He was just like barreling around for a while and not accomplishing a whole lot. Here comes Metamorphosis, a great Metamorphosis, and a really good stun by Kumato Boss as well. Down goes Tyrande, and now Illidan is on the hunt. Darka is being stunned for a second. They're able to catch the tribute, 1 kill only. But yeah, Zamoni got a very nice Metamorphosis off here, and as you can see, the more heroes he hits, the better for him. And he actually hit 4 heroes with that. But Falcon killed the top fort in the meantime, was able to claim that. Bakery and Falcon both missing in the last fight, and that wasn't too bad for both the teams, and it was a DPS hero that was missing here. The boss now is taken. Our Aragi is jumping in there. Sorry, Aragi as well, but Zamoni was the one doing the jumping. And you can really see how you can like dodge that stun on boss if you just use your ults appropriately. Once again, the 13 talent, and interestingly enough, we're having a double Shrink Ray on the side of LDLC, so there's going to be a lot of Shrink heroes walking around. By the way, talking about heroes that are walking around, Darka is in a bit of a bad spot there. Kumato Boss is already trying to get close enough for a stun, but they rotate towards the boss that has been taken already. Zamoni taking the walls down. Boss is there, and yes, SK just a tiny bit too late. 13 versus 13, very, very even experience for the two teams now. Boss at the bot lane is most likely going to take down this fort. The rotation is happening, but it's going to be close. I'm not sure if they can save that. Maybe with the shield on Kilachino they're able to pull it off. Tribute is spawning at the top lane, and that is extremely bad news now for LDLC, because they won't be there in time. This is just not going to happen. They won't be able to be there in time. I wouldn't be surprised if Bakery just like splits off and goes over there. 3 of them actually move in. They just ignore the boss, who will be taken out by the 2 towers. The bottom boss dropped the keep or the fort and is now moving in as well, because LDLC says, guys, we need to get that tribute. We need to let that boss go and do a bit more damage to our front wall, but we need to fight for that tribute, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. Napalm everywhere. Frost Shot, of course, being used. 3 Shrink Rays in this game now. Here comes the barrel again. They're trying to go for Falcon. Thrusters already activated, and Falcon is in a horrible position. But that ulti is stunned out. A nice mosh pit. Really good mosh pit. Bakery stuns ETC out, and they get the drop against him. Zamoni already with a Metamorphosis is jumping in once again. He's getting very, very low here. Can they save him? Oh, he just barely dodges the Luna up there. And now suddenly we're having the next attack stand here as well, but Zamoni is down. It is a 2 versus 1 in kills, and Falcon is trying to get Bakery now as well. Kumato boss is there, but with the thrusters, Falcon takes down Vala. Polato is just barely able to escape, but Falcon himself, shielded from Tacita, is not making it, so he drops as well. This is such a close fight. Everybody going for it, but another kill against Tacita puts finally the tribute into the hands of SK Gaming, and they are very, very far ahead in experience after this as well. 5 kills against 2 overall. Very well done there. Kumatu boss and Araragi, they are moving up to the top. They're trying to take this wall as well, which will put level 16 into their hands, and that's going to be great for them. With the 16 talent, they're going to have access to incredibly important talents like Blood for Blood on Vala. Imposing presence on Ulta makes it so hard with the right-click hero to really do damage to him and to drop him. And the Blood for Blood on Illidan, of course, is just a lifesaver. In the last game, or in the last battle we saw between the two teams, Blood for Blood would have put him into a decent spot again and probably saved his ass. But right now, Snitch, Araragi, and Kumato boss, they're just like taking down walls, limiting vision. Bakery already going for the camp, and a nice jump over the obstacles here from Zamoni, taking, of course, the Siege Giants with him and making sure that they have another lane pushing in now. Still the curse against the Spanish team. LDLC in this first map is, I want to say, struggling a bit. They have the 16 talent now as well, though. In kills, they weren't really all that successful, but Zamoni is starting to move into the mid lane. Not quite sure where you should go. Starting to attack the fort. What about the camp over here? It looks like LDLC is trying to contest it. Kumato boss is getting low, but a nice Raid of Vengeance was being used there. Kilachino moved back in the last second. ETC is making them dance. The party animal is going straight for it. 3 heroes killed. One of the best mosh pits that I've seen in a long time. Was a great position for it as well. And Zamoni, well, he's trying to at least eliminate Falcon, but he dies too. 4 heroes killed against nothing. The fort in the mid lane is eliminated, but by now the experience lead in the hands of LDLC. That mosh pit was amazing. I mean, that was 100% beef right there, and oh my god, like Nazebo dying as well. Being hunted down here apparently, so all 5 are done for, and this is bad news. I mean, we're having one imposing presence on the cow, which makes it so much harder to really drop him here, especially with right-click heroes like Illidan, for example. Illidan hates imposing presence, I can tell you that much. We're having on 16 the Shooting Star talent taken and not Ranger. Makes a lot of sense since Piercing wasn't taken on level 1, which is the usual talent that you want to go for when you're playing around with Ranger and trying to get the maximum amount of damage done with the Sentinel. We're having, of course, with all the heroes that are in the lineup, Executioner taken on Sergeant Hammer, with the root that you see there, with also ETC, with the stun on Tyrande. It's a great, great talent to have. And the double storm that we are seeing from Tacita. This is, of course, going to put a lot of damage out there, especially against siege units, against the waves. Can always go for the double storm and just like push a lane in easily, or de-push, depending on how exactly the game goes for you. 18 versus 17 is what we're having there right now. And they're jumping in once again, trying to maybe contest the boss that SK is going for. It's a pretty greedy boss that they're trying to capture here. And they will have to move back there. I do not think that they can do that, even with the Wandering Keg that they still have. Already, the boss leashed is going to get experience or hit points back. And there it is, back to full health. And yeah, moving back. Both teams trying to go for the zoning. We have actually no camps taken, but the rotation to the bot lane, taking first of all the well down. That's important so that SK won't be able to just like easily well up during the fight. Tribute at the top lane. Oh, and Tidaka is moving in. Is he going for a mosh pit? Nope, not just yet. As Illidan as well, they're still waiting. Nice route against Kumatabos, very nice route. But our Aragi is now going straight for the barrel, moving Falcon away, using the one okay, Tidaka! Oh my god, they save him for another few seconds, but he dies after all. Uta is dead though too, and Illidan dying as well. Zamoni not able to survive here. Our Aragi is in trouble, but so is Malfurion, who drops first. And now with 3 heroes and a healing ward, we're having maybe Bakery going down, not quite yet, but a Hunter's Mark on our Aragi drops Chen, and now it's 3 heroes alive against 2, and they are starting to go for boss. Snitch in a very, very dangerous spot, but they didn't have vision, so they couldn't react to this. Boss is going to be taken 19 versus 18, 10 kills against 7. That's how fast this game can turn. And this boss is of course going to end up in the hands of LDLC, and that will allow them to push in even further now. They can rotate to the top, try to get another boss, and more important I guess is to also go for the tribute here. The entire team is already moving. We're seeing Blackscorp moving back on Tyrande here. Killer Chino and Falcon starting to get in position, and down here, well, Snitch, don't know how to break it to you, buddy, but this fort is not going to survive. You won't be able to save it here. Level 20 is going to be an important talent. Well, it's always an important talent, but in this case we're going to have a potential Rewind or Storm Shield on Tyrande, the Blink on ETC, Nexus Frenzy, or even the Advanced Lava Strike is going to be the talent for Sergeant Hammer, as Malfurion is most likely going to go for Blink to just keep him a bit more alive in those fights, especially against a hero like Illidan. A bit more survivability would probably help him here, and Twilight Archon will be the talent taken on Tacita. Boss number 2 in the hands of LDLC now, and that gives them so much map control. The Tribute was captured as well, so it's 2 Tribute against 0, and that is horrible for SK, because it means the next Tribute on the map is one that will curse SK Gaming, so they kind of have to fight for it, but they won't be able to, because it's a 20 versus 18. There's the Blink. Storm Shield taken actually by Malfurion instead of the Blink, so it's more about getting the extra shield in. Kind of makes sense there, of course, with the Tyrande. It could also be Rewind, but no, it's the double Storm Shield, Nexus Frenzy, and the Twilight Archon here. And now they can move in with this. I mean, this should at least be a keep, especially since the boss is still pushing the top lane, so they have a lot of time to break through the wall, and they're already attacking the mid keep, going straight for this one. Very nice moves that we're having from them on the map, and well, so far SK is trying to somehow solve the situation, but nope, well, once again, Keep goes down, Keep eliminated, and Tribute is on the map, and of course the immediate retreat. This is LDLC trying to get the Tribute, trying to get the curse, and once they have that, they might be able, or they should be able, to take another keep down, and they're starting to rotate down to the bot lane. Up here at the top, there's still one Siege Giant, but he shouldn't survive for too long, considering that with the curse, the entire minion wave is of course not going to be able to do too much work. The mid lane is going to push in even harder than that. That's another problem that they're facing. Tidaka at the front line, as long as they have the 20, they're in a great spot. Those double Storm Shields are amazing. And don't forget about Falcon with all the damage that he's going to be able to dish out, especially since he's currently using this with the Executioner talent. The siege mode that he activates here puts him just in range of the keep, so he can attack that. And well, Kumato boss, how are they going to engage into this? They need to jump with Aragi and with Illidan in there. Flying kick and maybe a metamorphosis, as well, you don't really want to use that as an initiation though. But the keep, they won't be able to save it. Keep goes down, and that is the second one, and we're talking 19 versus 21 in talents. And once again, LDLC is simply rotating over the map. They're going to the top lane now, trying to at least cap vision away, and then they can either go and take the mercenary camps that are going to be up on the map again. One is already up, or they can just like simply move in and try to finish the job, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. They're already going for it straight away. There we have it. Killer Chino, Falcon, Blackscorp, and Tidaka are in position and are going for it. Snitch is pushing, has been pushed back already, doesn't even get close enough. And I mean, they are going to try and somehow initiate against that, but they still don't have the 20 talent, and so much damage already done by Sergeant Hammer even before they get into the fight. He's shielded already, and he's trying to use his Napalm and the Storm to like zone out the opponent. Double Storm the entire time, Napalm being used as well. Snitch and Commando Boss are dropping before they can get close enough. Falcon is just moving away with the thrusters to be on the safe side, but halfway down on HP is the keep already. And with 20 now nearly hitting for SK, this is when LDLC just moves back. The counters on the map, we have another minute on the boss over here. Up to the top, it's a minute and 50. And yeah, they're just like moving back for now. In this case, we're currently seeing Aragi, Kumaltobor, Zamoni, Bakery, and Snitch trying to make a stand there. The level 20 talents are finally available for them, and that means Hardened Shield on Aragi's Chen. We're having Demonic Form used, Ravenous or Annihilating Spirit. There's Bolt of the Storm and Divine Hurricane. All of those good talents, but I don't really think that it can contest with how much additional pressure it puts onto them when we're talking Nexus Frenzy in particular. That talent makes Sergeant Hammer into an absolute monster. And it's actually one of those things where personally I think that Blizzard made a bit of a mistake giving that talent to Sergeant Hammer. It just feels like way too strong on the hero, and that's one of the reasons why we are currently seeing Hammer in basically every single game, with very, very few exceptions. If you get an additional 20% range on a hero that already has an insane range, and then the attack speed on a hero that works like Hammer does, you can really do a lot of work, and that's what we've been seeing so far. I mean, Sergeant Hammer right now has, in terms of hero damage, 66,000, which is absolute insanity, and we're having him at 186,000 siege damage. And most of that damage that we're seeing in hero damage is, by the way, like pure right-click damage to a single target. So, of course, you do some with the mines as well, but this is not comparable to, let's say, a multi-shot Vala that is hitting 4 or 5 targets, depending on how the fight goes and how well Vala is positioned here. You should at least be able to hit 2 or 3 when you get a multi-shot off in those late-game stages, but normally more than that. The boss, of course, is the center of attention, and the big problem that we are seeing for SK Gaming is that time is running out for them. They have the big problem that those waves are pushing in hard, and this one alone is pressuring in the last keep, and now the rotation up to the top to get the boss. I actually think they could have stayed here for much longer. With Siege Tank, with Sergeant Hammer in your lineup, you usually can really hold a position like this for much, much longer. And as I said, time is working in their favor. At some point, SK would have been forced to move back. Now over here, we're having the boss, of course, going to finish that job. I mean, that keep is going to fall. If you're talking about a 21-minute boss taking the top lane and pushing in against the keep on half HP, that's basically dropping in. And I guess LDLC just deciding that they're going to try and finish the game. On the way in there, taking another curse tribute, and with this one they will have the first one of 3, so it's not going to be an immediate threat to SK Gaming. But LDLC is now, after the Siege Giant camp, also starting to move in here. Nice zoning with the roots. Needs to move back for now. The boss is still moving in. On the bot lane, by the way, we see the same picture, but there's already a double tower shooting at that. Over here, the towers are long gone. And yep, boss is moving in, and this keep is gonna fall. If one of them is gonna be stunned out, that would be an immediate pounce by LDLC. But of course, the idea of the Spanish team is to finish the game right now. To go in with the boss and finish the game completely with one stun, one bad move, one root against one of the SK heroes, and it would be over. But they're moving back again. They could have tried to force it, but they don't. So right now, with not a single keep taken from... actually, are they able to save that? Where's Tassadar? Does he get a shield off? Doesn't really look like he will. Maybe they get the damage in time to save the keep. No, with Tassadar they might have had a shot. So it's 2 keeps against 0 that we're talking about. Top tribute is spawning again, and right now this is basically the next team fight has a big chance of ending the game, no matter who wins it. If SK wins the team fight decisively, they will move straight to the bot lane and try and decoy it. And if LDLC wins the fight, then of course, well, they can pick whatever lane they want and just simply move in. We're having hard camps taken, a bit of a stun out there against the tribute attempt, but actually didn't really hit properly. So Commando Boss in this case was able to just get the tribute before the owl hit, and that puts the tribute count 1-1. But SK is very much pressured and is always just like in a spot where they need to defend. Mid lane, that's why we're seeing LDLC pushing in against the hard camp that was taken, going straight for that, and it's just basically the setup for the next fight. You want to be ready for the next fight. We have 10 kills against 7 still, and you want to make sure that you can jump into that next battle, get a good position before that, and maybe rotate somewhere. Of course, with the Sergeant Hammer, with Nexus Frenzy, there's always the threat against the core itself. So if you overextend too much towards the right side, you might trigger a backdoor attack by your opponent. T-Darker is already in position to maybe slide in with a power slide and go for, yeah, if he actually gets like a mosh pit off against a single hero and they can drop it, it's already worth it. The healing wards, by the way, 27,000 heal over here, 20,000 heal on Tyrande, healing wards OP. Healing wards are extremely strong right now. This is actually the strongest that healing wards have ever been in the game, if I'm not mistaken. They had earlier, now they do 3% of the max HP that they heal per tick. There was a time when they only healed 2. That was also when you had to right-click a healing ward to destroy it, and then there was a time where they healed 3. They healed 3, and you could use area of effect spells to them out. It's the tribute at the bot lane, and if SK moves for that, then we're going to see that backdoor attempt that I was talking about. And SK is going in. They're going in, the owl is hitting, so of course also revealing the position. I'm actually not quite sure why exactly they used this one. I mean, they could have waited a bit longer, but nope, they want to go for it. And as I said, Sergeant Hammer is a monster. So, well, they're still fighting under the core, and everybody is here. The big stun, and we have Black Scorp being pushed away here. Black Scorp is nearly dead, he's dying. They're gonna go for core, and it looks like they will be able to do it. Yes, this is going to be game LDLC. They win game number 1 against SK Gaming here in Cursed Hollow at the ESL Major League. Yep, the backdoor attempt successful by LDLC. Sergeant Hammer is an amazing hero in a situation like this, and as long as you zone for him a bit and you do the rest of the damage, you can just like win a game like that. So very well played by LDLC. Of course, that means that we're having now in the best of 3 series the second map coming up in just a bit. So guys, stay tuned, and then we'll be back with the next match here at the ESL Major League between SK Gaming and LDLC. The VODs and all the VODs of the past broadcasts are something that you can find on YouTube, youtube.com/colortv. If you missed the games at the weekend of the Go4Heroes tournament final between 3D Max and Tempo Storm, the North American team going up against the European team, you should definitely have a look over there. Those games were amazing. It's one of the last videos that was uploaded, so youtube.com/colortv if you want to have a look at that while we're in the break. And we'll be back with the next match in just a few minutes. Okay, boys, next game is going to start in just a bit, and well, fast. We're actually heading into the draft now. Let me double check that. Okay, so our draft is started, and there we go. Draft for map number 2, Garden of Terror is the map. SK Gaming versus LDLC, and LDLC this time has first pick, first ban. And yeah, let's see. So ETC is being banned out on this map. Now, of course, the pressure on the tanks. We're still having Chen and Stitches available. SK Gaming, of course, the question now how they are going to ban. Because, well, either they are going to ban out Zeratul, then we're having Illidan picked by LDLC most likely, or they are simply saying, well, we're going to ban something else, like either a bullshit ban, or they're going to pick another hero that LDLC really like, and then suddenly the pressure is, of course, on both of the teams trying to decide which kind of hero they want. Do they want to play it with an Illidan, do they want to play it with a Zeratul, because both of them will be available. And the way that LDLC in this case usually picks and bans is that they try to keep a lineup that is very, very flexible and can run with both of them. So Tassadar, for example, is an important hero that you can run, that your opponent is going to have a problem running with either one of the melee assassins, and you yourself are able to protect them easily. So yeah, SK Gaming needs to be careful now, of course. Especially since with ETC, there's also one of the heroes gone that they really like to play when they're going into Stitches. So that time pool is getting dangerously low for a second, and they ban out Zeratul, so we will see Illidan probably first picked. Okay, interesting. They did not want to go up against their opponent with a... Whoa! LDLC, instead of going for Illidan, they are going for Stitches. SK Gaming is... I mean, I would be super surprised to not see Illidan being picked now. Zamoni is probably like jumping up and down right now in TeamSpeak and is being like, pick it, pick it, pick it, pick it. Yeah, that is going to be... Alright, this should be a fun draft. Because LDLC obviously not afraid of Illidan. I mean, Illidan is like kind of the first banner first pick these days, and there it is already for SK Gaming. And that means that LDLC, they have a certain idea here of what they're going to do. They might go... I actually don't know. I would say they are probably going to go into something like Uther. First of all, we need to look for some damage. So it's probably going to be Vala. Vala or Sergeant Hammer. These days it seems like most teams are really preferring to play with Vala, but in the case of LDLC, they're going for both of them. So that's a lot of damage on the board already. SK Gaming will have to be careful and pick some DPS, and that could be Nazebo. Could be Asmodan in theory, if you want to play one of those games, but that's usually something that 3D Max does a lot. I don't think that SK Gaming has a lot of experience with that, but they have Tassadar, so Tassadar and Asmodan work very well together. I just don't think that it's really their thing. It's usually something that SK Gaming even bans out against teams like 3D Max. They still need a frontliner. Chen comes to mind. Arthas was played earlier. Muradin is a hero that we didn't see in that case. And they're going for Uther over Rhaegar right now. Uther with Cleanse, with Protective Shield, with the Burst Heal, with also, of course, the Team Stun as well. So one of the heroes that we see the most. And, well, what are they going to go with that? DPS is still missing. DPS and a tank. That's the two roles that they still need here. They cannot simply rely on Illidan and Tassadar. That would be not enough DPS for this fight, especially when you're going up against Sergeant Hammer and Vala. Of course, with Uther already taken, LDLC is now in a situation where they cannot simply just like hook in and stun. They might even go for an additional Tyrande, which would be a bit of a ballsy play, considering that they have no Tassadar and there's an Illidan against them, so I don't really think we're going to see that. SK Gaming is going to head into the SK Gaming actually going into Gen first. There's still no DPS on the board for them. For LDLC, we need one of the healers, and well, that could be Brightwing in this case, or we might just see them play it with Malfurion. But they still need something like, I mean, what else could we see by them? Tyrande is an option that you have to drop a target, but she's also pretty squishy, and if Chen jumps in and uses the Wandering Keg to push her out, then you are running in a bit of trouble there. But it's a very nice start for LDLC. What's going to be the healer, and what's going to be the additional role that they're adding to this? We are most likely going to see a Nazebo for SK Gaming, and there's the Malfurion. They could also just go into double healer in this case. and say they're gonna pick a Brightwing with that and try that. The damage is there. If they play Sustain build with Stitches, they should be able to keep him alive, especially thanks to the amplified healing. Other options would of course be to even go for a second frontliner and saying, okay, we're gonna add some stun here. We're gonna add another roll. So they can either go like really squishy. For example, I don't think that they go with the Tyrande in this case, just because it's too many squishies. It's a lot of damage, but it's not really a high hit point pool, and I don't think their Stitches alone will be able to do that. But they really go for max damage and take everything away from SK Gaming that they can, and they're going into Nazebo. Wow. Okay, now we have 3 DPS monsters on their lineup. They go full YOLO. This is like the full YOLO comp. Kill them before they kill us. That's what they're currently saying. And SK, I mean, what can they do in damage? As I said, a possibility on this map is Asmodan. I don't think they go for that. Another possibility is Reyna. Or they could go into Tychus. I doubt that we're going to see Zagara, which is sometimes being chosen here, but I do not really think that against this lineup you necessarily want to play her. So yeah, I guess the best shot that they're having is one of the StarCraft heroes going into Reyna or going into Tychus. Falstad we don't see him that much anymore, so with him relying a lot on burst damage as well, I don't really think that Falstad is going to be the best option here for them. But I'm a bit curious myself to see what's going on for them now, what they're going to pick, because that is definitely not an easy choice. And LDLC has just simply like everything that does damage. I mean, Illidan is still doing some damage. Tacita, of course, with the Archon is also doing quite a lot. The Storm is really annoying that you have most of the damage from him comes still from Archon form, and they still go Falstad. Wow. Okay, if I did not think they would play here, it was Falstad. Global presence is nice with him just flying in, but I did not think they would really pick him here. Hinterland Blast and everything is cool. You could even go Mighty here, Gust, if you just want to have something that that interrupts Nazebo. That is oftentimes actually played. The last few times that we saw Falstad played, it was with that talent. But I'm not sure if they really have... I mean, he's pretty squishy, you know? Like, if they get a hold on him just once, he might die. With something like Reyna, usually can survive a bit longer. The problem, of course, with him is if you get hooked by Stitches, then it's usually, like, all over for you. Yeah, this is a bit of a... This is a tricky one. Yeah, this is actually like a really, really tricky one right now. Alright. We're still missing a few of the LDLC players. From the looks of it, Kilachino is missing, and... Gran Paqueta. Kilachino and Gran Paqueta are still missing. Let me actually have a quick idea of what people think about this match in general. Alright, let me have a quick look. So, going over to Stormcraft. Looking at the LDC versus LDLC match versus SK Gaming. At the beginning, actually, 62% thought that SK Gaming would lose the game and that LDLC would win. So far, they've been right. I mean, the first map already goes to them, so that's one of the things. The next game that we're having is Kazooie versus SK Gaming, and looking at that match, I personally think that SK has a chance there, so let's see what people think about this game. Wow, 93% think that SK Gaming is going to make it, and that Kazooie, the XPKD squad, doesn't have a chance of winning that? Holy cow. Okay, I didn't see that one coming, I have to admit. I mean, I can understand that people favor LDLC over SK Gaming, considering how they are playing these days, but Kazooie versus SK, 93% for SK. I mean, the match, of course, only starts, so that might change until the match is really starting here, but oh my god, that is crazy. That is quite something. Okay. Game hasn't started yet, but at least we have the players in the lobby, and I think we're going to start any second now. Okay. Let me see. 9 of 10. Who's missing? Yeah, Aragi isn't ready. Usually Aragi readies up and everybody else is ready and then starts the game, but not seeing it just yet. Come on, boys. Let's get this show on the road. Make Daddy happy. Dragonshire, by the way, is the map. I don't think we really talked about Dragonshire being the map just yet, but yeah. Let's see. Alright. There we go. Nice. Okay, let's see. Okay, game number 2, guys, is starting. We're looking on Dragonshire as the second map. A 1-0 lead for LDLC in this series so far. Dragonshire. Oh god, I hate it when they do that. Game number 2, ladies and gentlemen, at the ESL Major League, with LDLC going up against SK Gaming. Currently the team in blue, LDLC, the Spanish team, leading with the 1-0 in the best of 3 series at the Major League. Tidaka on Stitches, Pulato on Malfurion, Black Scorp on Azebo, Kilachino is playing Vala, and Falcon is playing Sergeant Hammer. To the right side of the map, we're having our Aragi on Chen, Zamoni on Illidan, Snitch on Tacita, Bakery playing Fawcett in this game, and Kumato Boss on Uther. Dragonshire is the map, and let's find out who's going to take it here. If LDLC wins another game, then they won the best of 3 series, of course. Currently we're looking at double. There's actually like a lot of talents that depend highly on how many health globes you pick up in the game for SK Gaming. Double Conjurer's Pursuit and Regeneration Master. Our Aragi getting hooked. Oh, nice combo. That was a really nice follow-up that we saw there. Hook into Root into Wall of Zombies, but they only got Chen, and that's one of the reasons why they're currently, putting this much pressure onto the lane. But yeah, with Chen, if any other hero would have been, actually like thinking about it, Bakery, Snitch, and Aragi, all 3 of them would have been able to get away with a barrel roll with a dimensional shift, so not really that big of a deal. But right now we're having the rotation between the mid lane and the bot lane, which we oftentimes see on Dragonshire. It's one of the strategies that you can employ there. You're just like farming one lane after another. You take those minions down and then you rotate down to the next one. Usually takes roughly 8 seconds for the entire rotation, if you do it right. And the idea is that you just like try and get a kill with that as well, trying to jump your opponent who's never really aware of where exactly you are. Shrines are now activated, and with that we're having the bot shrine about to be taken by LDLC. At the top there's already Falcon with a few mines in position to take the shrine against Zamoni. Mid lane with Tidaka. And wow, Uther apparently taken out. How did that happen? I guess Black Scorp got one of his Wall of Zombies off here. They're rotating to the middle already. But at the top lane, we're having Chen. Chen actually switching with Illidan here to make sure that they have something against Sergeant Hammer that they can throw into the battle. Now looking at the talents for LDLC. The sustain build on Stitches with Chuya Food and Amplified Healing is one of those things that you really want to choose, of course. We're having also the Healing Ward on Malfurion on level 7 is probably going to go for the Enduring Growth once more, which makes a lot of sense in this case. We're having for Chen, Swift Reflex is chosen. Then looking at one of the heroes that is most, it's actually like quite interesting for us, Bakery. We're seeing Power Throw and Gathering Power taken. So far, every time when we see Falstad picked in the games, there are different builds now that you can use. We've even seen a right-click build by 3D Max. I think they're one of the teams that is experimenting with builds the most. They had especially in talents, like the most changes over the course of the last few weeks, I feel. We've seen several Vampiric Assault builds by them. and other things, right-click builds on Falstad compared to the like the burst build that we are seeing now being played, where you're just playing more of a mage hero. But yeah, that's one of the things that we oftentimes have for 3D Max. The other teams, like we're seeing here, Bakery, are playing a more traditional change. So currently we're having our Ragi and Falcon going up against each other, as you can see there at the top lane, and Falcon has to put the thrusters in and move away there. The camp taken already by Zamoni, as you can see in this case. We have down at the bot lane Kumato Boss and a Bakery in position with another attempt for a root. Nice block with the wall of zombies against Kumato Boss. Bakery is using his skills, but Kumato Boss is getting really low. They're not able to drop him though. We're lacking the damage for a few seconds there. Polato was still in cooldown on the root, or he could have used another one in. We're having level 7 now for LDLC. SK Gaming is going to get that talent very soon as well. Enduring Growth already used. And we're having Gitbin as well as Toxic Gas in this case. For Vala, very, very rarely do you see anything else but Battle Momentum taken on Vala. One of the talents that is actually taken occasionally is of course Searing Attack, but only if you're going for a right-click build. That usually leaves us with Rancor on level 1 and then sometimes even Manticore on level 4. We've actually seen even hybrid builds with Vampiric Assault on 4 to get at least the Searing Attacks on level 7 then. So there's definitely a bit of momentum that you can use when you are getting when you're like getting one of those builds, especially now with the level 20 talent Nexus Frenzy that you can get. It's something that you can definitely go for. One of the reasons why we usually have teams put a lot of priority at the bot lane is that you get access to the camp that is now taken, the bot camp, and also the 2 easy camps to the between the bottom and the mid lane, one for each team. These are already captured out. Nice wall of zombies that has been used there by Polato to make sure that those are not going to do anything. One tower is down, and you can really see the experience coming in here for LDLC. They are playing this very well. One of the big ideas, of course, that we are currently seeing from SK Gaming is that they are going to jump the backline later on. The lineup that we're seeing for LDLC is kind of squishy if you think about it. There's a lot of DPS potential with Vala, Nazeebo and Sergeant Hammer, but it's all heroes that do not really have the biggest hit point pool. And with Araragi on Chen, you have one hero that can use the flying kick to jump into the opponent. Wandering Kek is going to break off that backline easily, and then you have Illidan who follows up with that, and they can just put so much pressure on these heroes that they might not be able to get that damage in. With Falstad, you have another one for burst damage that with a Hinterland Blast can simply try and drop one of the targets, if then later on Chen and Illidan are not able to drop it immediately. And on the other hand, if we're looking at what's being run by LDLC, it's more about bursting targets down. It's like a full-on damage build that they're running here. Of course, with Tranquility being chosen and Putrid Bile. I guess in this case, actually, I could really see Stitches, depending on how it goes, on level 20 go for the Regenerative Bile instead of the Hardened Shield. Depends on how much pressure is going to be put on him, but that would help the rest of the team to stay alive a bit longer. Both shrines now for the first time in the hands of SK Gaming, and they're trying to get the Dragonite, but so far, ooh, the hook against Snitch, and they're trying to capture him here, but a nice escape by him. Illidan is waiting. We have at the top lane still Sergeant Hammer going up against Araki with a hard camp that was taken earlier. At the bottom lane is Black Scorp, who needs to be careful that he doesn't get stunned out there by Kumato Boss Nutha. Oh, damage already done, and Zamoni is... Oh, Bakery is in a really bad spot. He gets healed, but here comes the Ravenous Spirit, and Bakery is dead. They might actually get Kumato Boss too. No 13 talent yet for Vala, so no chance to go for a Frost Shot here. And Tidaka was with the 16 seconds cooldown that we have on Hook now, not in a position where you could throw another Fishing Hook to get him in. Fishing Hook, well, he doesn't have that just yet, but still. We're having Polato and Didaka already in position here. To the right side, well, we have 0 kills against 2. So right now LDLC is actually doing extremely well. And Falcon moving away. Araragi. Yeah, it's just that Chen. He is just so tanky. Bot lane, Titaka has to be super careful. He's using a Devour, but he is getting blocked out completely. Nice stun by Kumato Boss. And the kill against Stitches. Oh my god, they're getting Vala now too. And suddenly that advantage that we've been seeing earlier for LDLC is nearly gone. They're still slightly ahead of their opponent's team, but that was a very nice move that we saw from SK. The body blocks down here were absolutely amazing. Having 3 heroes blocking the path of Stitches and then getting Vala as well, that was quite something. Polator with the Moonfire making sure that Snitch is not getting the Dragonite just yet, but the rotations are way too fast for them to deal with, and this is going to be the first DK in the game. Both teams are looking at level 13 now, where we see Relentless on Stitches. That is a talent that he could have used against the stun combos that we saw from Uther at the bot lane from the last kill. We're having at least one Shrink Ray being used in the game, and we could see a second one on Tazadar for SK Gaming, but so far the hero hasn't picked yet. Frost Shot and Vala, not really a surprise considering that it's again a multi-shot build. And we're having Giant Killer being used here for... This is actually interesting to see the Giant Killer right now taken. We're going to talk about that later. In particular, Giant Killer is one of the talents that you can get on 13, and if you play Sergeant Hammer, there are a few options on that talent. You could go for the Barricade, which you do not see all that often, and the rest is mostly like mine talents that you can go for the Spider Mines. But Giant Killer is a great talent when you want to drop a tank, but you have to be careful that you don't go up against heroes that have imposing presence, or you won't be able to do too much. Like the idea, of course, like this is not really depending on Giant Killer in general, but of course the idea of Giant Killer is to get that right-click damage in even against the high hit point heroes, or against the high priority target heroes, and in this case, if you get then something like imposing presence, you kind of counteract that. Level 14 versus 14, we're having now still no talent taken for good old Tacita here. He could go for pre-signs as well, and that's actually what he's getting. He's not going for the Shrink Ray, he's going for pre-signs. Rotation to the bot lane again to take one of the hard camps out. And Illidan especially is of course always making sure that he gets as many of the hard camps as he can. Always just like jumping in, getting one after another. He's one of the best heroes in the game when it comes down to single-handedly defeating a camp. Bakery with a nice move, but he's getting slowed and rooted. Bakery is down. Very nice reaction here from the Spanish team. Oh, our Ragi actually pushing Tidaka back. Has to escape now and barely does though. Snitch is already also moving back. Blackscorp might not have been able to kill anybody with this, but he was certainly doing a lot of damage and creating a lot of space for his team. Yeah, with one hero down and 15 versus 15, we're having now the Siege Giant camp taken. Falcon is starting to move around and try and take down the fort here. Oh, the hook by Tidaka. Not hitting in this case, but yeah, that still was a lot of pressure. We're having Illidan also with another Shadow Shield ability, or an evasion ability, level 1 Shadow Shield, and then here 6 tenths taken. We're having to the left side more camps now popping up on the map, and this is just like what do you do in this case. You rotate through the map, you're trying to get as many of the objectives as possible, you start to push it in, you have an additional talent over your opponent, and then you try to run with that. At this point we are seeing Pulverize on 16 taken for the additional stun. Very disruptive talent, especially of course when it comes down to the team fights where you can then maybe just get that mini stun in and gain yourself another second before your opponent uses one of his abilities. There's a Blood for Blood together with an Executioner talent, so really a lot of right-click damage potential on Sergeant Hammer right now. And all these heroes, I mean, this is just such a huge damage ability that we have from all of them. There's a Blood for Blood on Illidan, and the hook again. Nice attempt there. Looking at the DPS, you can really see the difference between the teams coming into play, especially on that Sergeant Hammer, who is going completely nuts with 45,000 damage. That's more than twice the damage that the second hero in the game, Vala, has been able to dish out so far. Yeah, once again the jump, Ragi going in, and there is that jumper comp that we've been talking about, and the immediate move against Blackscorp, who rushes away but is taken out regardless. That's the problem that LDLC has to face here. They're facing the music now. Snitch is getting very, very low and nearly dropped, but gets that pre-science in once again. The root against Zamoni, and Zamoni might yet. No, he gets sealed. Bakery is getting kind of low, but he's still in a position where he can chase them, and he uses the Hinterland Blast to drop another one. Down goes Sergeant Hammer. The root in a very nice position, but this, of course, with that double kill, puts SK in a position where they might actually get the Dragonite again, and I think they will. I don't think they can stop him. No, there's nothing. They won't be able to disrupt that. And here we go, Snitch with another Dragonite. And yeah, that's the big problem that LDLC is running with that comp that we've been talking about earlier. Can they put the damage in? Can they isolate a hero and really DPS him down? Or is it gonna be just like Chen and Illidan that are disrupting the backline so much that all those heroes are more running than doing anything else and won't be able to get that damage in? Suddenly it's 4 kills against 3, and that advantage that LDLC was building up is history. We're having 50,000 damage, 30,000 damage, and 20,000 damage, but numbers only, like, numbers don't really matter in this case. Yes, a lot of damage was done so far, but if that damage isn't done at the right time and dropping the target, then it doesn't help you. And that's exactly what we saw there. We have a lot less damage dished out by SK Gaming, but they were dropping their targets, and that's the one thing that really counts at the end of the day. So they've been doing really well with this. Killer Chino is already in position to push that lane back, and that Dragon Knight is showing a lot of respect. The only fort that has been eliminated is the one at the top lane. The Dragon Knight himself didn't really do too much damage just yet, didn't get a chance to do that. We're having another attempted hook against him. Falcon is in position back here. Nice hits by Falstad. Falstad, of course, went for Giant Killer and Overdrive. And Overdrive in particular is going to be a huge stat. Our Aragi already there, trying to go for the jump again. Zamoni in position. Healing wards, but both teams are already being dropped. And Tidaka is taking the healing ward out right away. Their own healing ward is also gone. Snitch is dropping in HP again, but here comes that Wandering Keg. Killer Chino is moving away, and they're actually dodging it this time quite well. There comes the root against Aragi. Good stun by Kumato Boss, and the heroic ability. Oh, the Ravenous Spirit. Nice. The Metamorphosis by Zamoni was great. He is still very low. Oh, God, Tidaka. He's getting dropped by Chen. Illidan dies as well, but now they have no tank anymore, and even with the thrusters, Sergeant Hammer isn't making it. Snitch is extremely low. It's just that tankiness that they're currently having there, especially with the pre-signs and also the dimensional warp that has been used here. Snitch is always one of the primary targets of them, but he is one of the tankiest heroes that they have, thanks to pre-signed dimensional shift, and then also the level 16 talent with the dimensional warp that he's been choosing. Our Aragi also very difficult to drop thanks to the shield that he has, and of course let's not forget about Uther, who's always there with another heal. Illidan nearly dying twice and then using Metamorphosis in the last second to gain himself another HP bar. So right now Bruiser can't attack at the bot lane. But you can really tell that it is a bit of a problem that we are seeing now for LDLC to really fulfill that potential of damage that they have there. Level 20 talent is going to hit faster if it continues like this for SK, and then the only question that remains is how well are they going to be able to use that to their advantage. Polator, Black Squad, deep pushing the bot lane, another hard camp taken for both of the teams. Both of the teams going straight for that. Yeah, Killer Chino is already there. The hard camp is going to fall. We are right over here. Zamoni with the Bruiser camp doing his thing. Dragon Knight is back for now. Shrines in active. And that could put... Well, first of all, of course, the bottom shrine is going to be taken by LDLC. But whoever wins the next fight is going to be the one that will be able to get the Dragon Knight, or should be at least. I mean, sometimes you really see crazy defenses against that, or potential pressure against the bot lane and against that keep. You need to react to that, and SK is already teleporting back, as you can as you can see right now. Very, very well done. Yep, right now we're having the entire wall pushed in, and they're just moving back. And that's pretty easy for them. I mean, they gather up experience, they put pressure on SK, they force them to move back, and now they retreat. Oh, they are visible, and always against Snitch, who gets away with his dimensional warp. No problem for him. Of course, one of the talents now in cooldown, but still, that's not going to be something where he's going to be too concerned. Well, down here, Zamoni is trying to jump in, Kumato Boss. What's going to be really important later on, of course, is again how our Aragi is going to jump in with this Wandering Keg. Our Aragi, ooh, and he just barrels away with it. Just moves away. Maybe Tidaka has an opportunity to get another hook in there. He's still in cooldown. Doesn't really get anything in. But yeah. So one temple or one shrine still taken. At the top we have one camp starting to push heavily against the towers. That's why Falcon is moving in and pushing that away. We're having down here another one taken. They just like rotate from one to another. Up to the top lane, there's currently Tidaka just like trying to get into position with this and capturing another one out. So just like always trying to just like keep the opponent away from capturing both of the shrines. That's the most important thing that we have in this situation. Tidaka is moving back. Our Aragi, of course, the one they won't be able to drop him this easy. And Illidan is still waiting. They have demonic form right now, and this is going to be super difficult now for LDLC for the next few seconds. They need 1 or 2 waves until they are able to have their level 20. This one might already be it. Nope, it's not enough. It's not enough, and it's 19 versus 20. They don't have the talent. And here comes Illidan, jumps in, and the kill against Vala right away. A nice hook against Samoni. Now comes the level 20 talent into play, but Blackscorp couldn't even use it before he used his Ravenous Spirit. The root against our Ragi. Our Ragi is completely isolated here. He uses his shield though and is able to keep himself alive. Hinterland Blast is wrecking the backline. Blackscorp dropping HP quite fast. Snitch is once again using his Dimensional Warp to get away here, but our Ragi, he is going down. Really impressive performance there in that fight by LDLC. Level 20 versus 20, and they're trying to go for Kumato boss. There comes, oh, the hook, and oh my god, he heals himself in the last second, but he is going to die. Maybe not. No, oh my god, he just barely survived that. But they kill Illidan. They kill out Illidan and have access now to the Siege Giants that they take. Also, of course, with the bottom shrine now taken by Tidaka, they can move to the top, can claim the second one, and they can go straight into the mid lane and capture this one as well. So this would be a really strong Dragon Knight since they scale over time, and 80 minutes into the game that is of course brutal. Nexus Frenzy is now taken as well, and this is going to be fun. We have also Hardened Shield taken for both of these heroes, so both of the tanks running with Hardened Shield, which makes you nearly invulnerable for 4 seconds. 75% damage reduction. And there comes Blackscorp. Blackscorp with the Dragon Knight, waiting a bit longer, dancing in the mid lane, waiting for the rest of the team to heal up and to join with him. Just rushing for the opponent doesn't do anything for you. The problem that you have with that is always that if you get bursted down, then, well, you won't be able to do any damage, obviously. So you need to wait for the rest of the team. You have enough time. There's still a minute for them where they can use it, and they just need the entire team together. That's the more important part. And they're already starting to move down to the bot lane to go in for that right away. I mean, especially what we are seeing here with Illidan, that's of course always, this is like a healing potion, using that ult as well. It's a great ult to use, and this is why a lot of Illidan players wait just until they're on half HP or a bit down and just like jump away. If you hit a lot of targets with that, you really get a lot of HP there, and this is one of the things where Simone could use every single fight to just keep himself alive there for another few more seconds so that the cooldown of Uther is ready. Uther with the big stun. We're having the battle against the healer. They're trying to drop Kumato boss. He has imposing pressure, but still, oh, Illidan is already down. He jumped in and died a second later. Kumato boss is low. He's actually getting kicked away, but he doesn't die. Snitch, on the other hand, healed by the healing ward. I cannot believe that they were able to keep Kumato boss alive. But our Ragi might die here. He's going for his own shield, and he dies even with the heal that we are seeing. And this could already be game. Blackscorp has another 4 seconds. That's not going to be enough to drop that core, but they have the entire team still alive, and that's the big problem. It's a 5 versus 3, and Falcon is doing damage, and Blackscorp in the back is using his Annihilating Spirit. He's trying to drop Bakery. Bakery drops just seconds before he reaches the Nexus over here, and this of course is going to be game number 2, ending in favor of LDLC. SK Gaming defeated with a 2-0. Congratulations to LDLC winning the best of 3 at the ESL Major League.